Hey, welcome everybody. It's Monday, and as such, it is time for us to play Mysteries in the Dalelands. And we are pretty darn excited because who doesn't like a little Monday night escapism? So, welcome everybody for hanging or to our stream. Thanks for hanging out with us. My name is Scott, also known as Wiley Hobbit. I'm the host of your D&D viewing tonight, and with me are three of our four players. Unable to connect with Mateus tonight. He has family in town, and I believe it was a wifely command performance that has barred his participation. And obviously, family always comes first here on the Wiley Hobbit channel, so you'll have that. All right, so we are currently in the ruins of Snowmantle. Battle has begun. We've had two sessions of almost entirely solid, mostly combat. Last session was all combat, in fact. And it is in the midst of that chaos that we will pick up the action, but not before we meet our characters and players. So let's go around the horn. We'll start with Ronvin. We'll go ladies first. Tell us a little bit about your character.
Hi, I'm Vivi and I play Ronvin. Ronvin is an artificer who loves her lightning blaster, which is, which she got in her armor with a little gem. So, right now she was hoping to find something shiny to take apart, but so far we have found like nothing interesting.
Yeah, just some agents of the Zentarum.
Yeah.
That's been the sum total of your findings so far. And they've been none too welcoming, sadly. So we'll just see what happens from there. So, all right,
Yes.
very good.
And they're much less interesting to take apart.
They are much less interesting to take apart. Maybe not less fun, but not that interesting. Yeah, they just kind of gush and gurgle.
More cleanup.
Yeah, just more cleanup. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Viz.
Hey, I'm Hay Wilson, or Dave Hay Wilson on the internets. I'm playing Viz. He is a fairy, is also a fighter of the Rune Knight persuasion. So it makes for a rather weird situation where you have an 18-inch tall fairy that can transform into a 13-foot tall giant fairy.
It's pretty cool.
It is. It's also helpful sometimes.
In fact, didn't we have that transformation occur last session finally, or was that the session before? Maybe it was the session before.
It was last session.
Was it?
And
Okay.
it was just sort of to use it to end off the combat, and it was a little fun. I'm looking forward to using it a bit more.
A little fun. Nice. A little fun, he says. All right, very good. And then finally, certainly not least, but definitely at this point last in the go-round, Rue Shahar, what's going on?
Hey everyone, I am Andrew, also known as Fellowship of the Tables on the Discord and Twitch. And tonight I play Rue Shahar, the Changeling Rogue and Zentarum Taker Aparter.
Zentarum Taker Aparter, yes. Rue and Rance have history with the Black Network, with the Zentarum. Rance most recently. Rue is a little bit more back in time, albeit though I think Rue's involvement with the group is much deeper and full of intrigue than Rance. Rance was simply taken slave, for no other lack of a better term, indentured servitude, and he managed to free himself and get the heck out of there. And here he is. And so Rance will not be joining us tonight. That's Mateus plays him. So we will hopefully welcome him back in 2 weeks. I'll pilot Rance Rumblood, a pirate thief swashbuckler, technically speaking. So if any piloting needs to be done, I will see to it that takes place. So give you a quick recap. The party is in a place called Snowmantle, which is actually more than anything kind of the ruins, a rundown, used to be a very small settlement north and east of Dagger Falls and the very northern edge of the Dalelands of Daggerdale, north of the trade road that runs between Dagger Falls and Zindel Keep. On the edge of the border forest. And it's about a 2-day march, about 35 or so miles from Dagger Falls. And they're there with the town constable of Dagger Falls, Zal, trying to figure out if this, in fact, is the location or the genesis of all of the nefarious activities that have been taking place in and under Dagger Falls. Nothing short of murder, missing persons, caravans that have not arrived, intercepted cargo, death, destruction, and in fact, turns out that a team of what turned out to be salt devils were until they were ended, were mining salt beneath the very feet of the unaware citizens of Dagger Falls until our heroes, the company, the Iron Phoenix, brought an end to that. But it seems that the salt they were mining was a trading commodity with the Black Network. So somehow Zettel Keep or the Zentarum have been implicated in all of this, as have a couple of residents of Dagger Falls, which remains yet uninvestigated. But Asha Tanner, the proprietor of the very successful outfitter, is perhaps in league with this arrangement. But it seems that Zentarum were providing weapons and slave labor in trade for this very, very fine, high-quality salt that they would, I'm sure, then turn around and trade or sell. Because, the Black Network is nothing more than a harmless group of sword arms mercenaries, merchant trading company, really, they're fine. Nothing to see here. Never up to no good or anything like that. But turns out that perhaps that is not the case. And so our party, a couple of sessions ago, arrived in Snowmantle, and they were assailed by none other than some very nasty sword arms and their leaders, who are wearing all of the accoutrements of the Zentarum, the Black Network itself. There's been some strange symbology on some of the building and things. Let me see if I have that imagery. Looks like maybe I don't. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. I thought I had it, but I do not. So, at any rate, it's been an interesting little situation. In our last episode finished, they were exploring some of the dwellings that looked to have been partially repaired, made reasonably sort of useful. It seems that they have an operation here. There's a number of persons here camped for some purpose. They haven't yet determined that because they're not done combating the residents. So it's the battle for Snowmantle continues, is episode 52. And at the end of last episode, Rance was shot in the buttocks by a thug who popped a trapdoor in the floor behind Rance in the largest of the dwellings that are in the ruins. Shot him in the behind, and when he howled, Zal burst through the front door, as only a paladin of Lathander can do in full gleaming plate mail, dashed across the floor and throttled the thug with one round of attacks with his greatsword, ending him with a rather explosive, radiant, divine smite. And it is there we will pick up our scene as Viz, Rue, Ronvin are all returning from exploring one of the other buildings on this little campus, if you will, on the just under the eaves of the border forest. So the three of you see through the windows of this large building, and again, the building that Rance and Zal are in is the largest of all the buildings. It's sort of like a 2-story salt box, maybe even 2.5 stories. It's quite tall. It's got a cedar shake roof that's been replaced in places, repaired, if you will. Windows are broken out in many places, but you see a blinding flash. You hear sort of a crackle, and you hear Zal bellowing, "Take that, you dark, vile agent of evil," as he proclaims the light of Lathander. The back door to the building actually blows open from the percussion of this divine energy called down from the heavens by your paladin companion. What do you do? It is nighttime, so it is rather dark.
Is there a window on the side of the building that's facing us?
Yes. Yeah, the windows are like 3 or 4 of them across the first floor and then symmetrically right above them on the second floor. And the same goes for the front of the building as well. It's a very, rectangular, symmetrical, kind of a salt box type dwelling.
I'm going to try to go in through a broken window quickly.
Okay, and the back door is hanging ajar because it was sort of blown open by the force. But yeah, you can easily make your way across one of the open / damaged windows. Not a problem at all.
Just sort of jump through very agile-like, whatever.
Yeah. Using your agility?
Yes, that would be the phrase.
Okay. Yeah, so you bound in the window, and I'm picturing maybe like a tuck and roll and up onto your feet.
Mm-hmm. Both swords in my hands.
Short swords drawn. And you see Rance clutching his backside. Hey, darling creep show, good to see you. Thanks for bouncing in. And Mikey B. Sitfrog Sid, good to see you, man. You see Rance clutching rather painfully as blood runs down his backside, down one of his legs, a black crossbow bolt buried into one of his butts. And you see Zal standing kind of, breathing hard with his great sword gleaming with the light of Lathander. Sweat beaded on his bald pate. And he looks over kind of startled and faces you as if perhaps you're a threat. And then his look softens. Good to see you, Rue. It turns out there's more of them about, perhaps down this trapdoor. He's not supposed to laugh at the paladin of Lathander.
I'm laughing at the Zoom chat.
Yes.
Everything okay?
It would appear not, friend, as Rance tries to work the crossbow bolt, and Zal comes over, puts a shoulder on him. Hey, boy, be still, let me help you with that. And he heals Rance, laying on hands. Let's see, he was down 10, so we'll add 10 healing, and so Rance is back up to full steam. Not that I'm sure you're going to need that, just merely coincidence that Zal thought to do that for him. And he extricates the bolt as Rance just plugs away at his rum bottle, and then he pours some of it down the wound.
Oh, man, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, and he's like, ow, why do I do that? And Zal's like, if you'd be patient, lad, it would merely knit itself. And you see this relief across Rance's face as pure bliss, as the warmth of the Morning Lord radiates throughout his body as he's healed 10 points.
You talk about the warmth of the Morning Lord and Rance's bottom, and it gives a light to a whole different thing.
Just all sorts of interesting things.
Yep.
Lathander is all about bringing light to dark places.
Yes. Bringing.
What darker places are there?
Where the sun doesn't shine. It does now. Nice.
Children.
We should be wary, Zal says, and he throws the trapdoor back. I want to say that Rance was operating with a torch. Does that sound about right?
He would have been, because he doesn't see.
Because he doesn't have dark vision, yeah. And so they kind of hold the torch, and you see descending into the darkness. And by darkness, I mean pitch black darkness. Steps going down, and it's all stone. It's appears to be worked stone, and the steps go down about 25, 30 feet, And the landing down there appears to be like a tunnel. It continues on. This is the west end of the building. Again, this building, this 2-story salt box. Let me find my map. So many papers. There we go. Hashtag DM life. All the papers. Yeah, so the building is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, about 75 feet across and 35 feet top to bottom. And you're in the northwest corner, and this tunnel goes straight west. It's 10 feet wide. Again, it appears to be worked stone. I wouldn't say anything super fancy, but it's definitely been worked. Like it's a tunnel with a purpose. And it just disappears into the darkness as you all, you could... Zal kind of holds the torch in and illuminates it. Well, seems to be more to this place than I might have expected. What say you?
So Brunville will touch, Penny Swoops, Penny Swoops shines light. So are we gonna go in there all blazing, or?
Oh, I can go in.
I mean, some of us have dark vision. Do we still have the dark vision?
Rue, I believe, is currently wearing the final application of the dark vision salve that you were kind enough to procure for him.
Yep. I guess I probably have another 6 or 7 hours on it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it would get you through the night if you're up that long, if you live that long. I mean, if you're awake that long. So what would you like to do?
Maybe those two should scout ahead, and Runwin will stay with the others. Because those two are sneakier than she is.
Yeah. Well, you and Zal are in the heavy armor, and Rance is sneaky. He can't see in the dark though.
Yeah, but he just got shot in the bud, and he drank some brandy, so he can stay with us.
Yeah, Rance is feeling no pain thanks to the healing effects of the Morning Lord and the cheap bathtub rum that he's been swilling.
He's got Rance in his pants.
Rance in his pants, yes. All right, so Viz and Rue, you're going to go down the steps and onward?
Looks like it.
I will fly high, and Rue can take the down low.
All right, so the tunnel is roughly 10 by 10 square. Again, it's rough hewn, it's worked stone, but it's not certainly nothing a dwarf would, put their name on. So the passageway goes due west for about 35 feet and then turns due south, which would be a left turn. You gonna go around the corner?
I'll fly up ahead and high and just sort of take a peek around the corner with my dark vision. My God, I was going to say infravision. Eesh, been about 30 years since I've said that.
Can you refresh my memory? You have 60 feet, don't you, or is it 120?
I have 120. Courtesy of being a room knight.
So at 45 feet, the passageway turns west. Hey, the Jen, what's up, girl? Thank you for the DM advantage. That's just too kind of you. I'll just note that on my document here where I track such things. That's 24 DM advantages. Very nice. I do use them. It's good to see you. Yeah. So after 45 feet, it turns to the west and remains dark. Same level of darkness. Nothing there.
Okay. I'll just whisper down. Looks clear. We can keep going. Turns west again, though.
I will stealthily continue on.
Okay, let's go ahead and roll stealth. Viz, I don't think we need to worry so much for you because you're flying. And I'm guessing that the wings of a fairy do not make much noise.
Could be. I can still roll.
21.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah, so Viz, you have to keep looking back to make sure Rue is still with you because he's making no sound. Rue, you can plainly see. By up high, Viz, I'm assuming you mean up at the top of the 10-foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close to the ceiling.
That's all she wrote for height. So at 45 feet, it turns to the west, and 10, 20, 30. Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20. At about 20 feet, the north wall opens up, and there's some shadowy objects. Looks like maybe barrels, all stacked in an alcove that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet down the hall. And it opens up on the right side after about 20 feet. And it does look very familiar. Viz, I mean, you're just around the corner, just turning the corner, so you can't see all the way into the alcove, but you can see enough that it looks like it's packed full of barrels. And the alcove itself is 25 feet long.
Right.
So you're going to continue to go down?
Yep.
Okay, so you get to the corner of the alcove. It only takes you, 15, 20 feet to get to that point. And you can very clearly see the alcove is 15 feet deep, and it is literally double stacked, side by side, front to back, with barrels of salt. 2 layers of these barrels. You've seen them before. They're marked with the Zentarum emblem that you see there on stream. Lurk away, darling. Good to see you. Thanks for bouncing in. Beyond that, the hallway continues another 15 feet, 25 feet, and then there's a 10-foot opening on the north wall, and the passageway turns south. So it looks like there's some kind of an opening on the north wall after 25 feet past the end of the alcove. And at that point, the passageway turns south. So it basically tees into the opening to the north and the 10-foot passageway heading south.
Right.
Roll perception.
Perception. Not bad. Straight 18.
23.
Yeah, you hear voices.
Any particular language, or do we understand it, or is it the same gibberish?
Probably the same gibberish. Which languages do you all?
Common, Giant, Sylvan.
Goblin, Halfling, and Thieves' Camp.
Yeah, this is not familiar to you, and it is, in fact, the same language you heard up top that was being shouted between the folks that you were combating. And as you're making your way down the passageway, the opening to the right in the north wall suddenly illuminates with the familiar flicker of firelight.
Okay. Does it look like it's getting closer to us, or just
it's just the room itself, the opening there. The firelight is coming from there, but it's not coming closer to you. Whatever's through that opening, that space appears to have been illuminated by what you would guess either a non-hooded lantern or perhaps a torch. And it's tough to tell if you're seeing shadows on the west wall or if it's just the flickery of the source of illumination. But you definitely hear this guttural, profane-sounding, percussive, consonant-loaded language, and you do very plainly, I mean, you're only 25 feet down the hallway, see that space to the north, which is the right side of the hall, has been lit up. The passageway turns south. That side has not been illuminated. It's only picking up the glow. The glow is definitely coming from the north side.
Okay. Viz will flit down to Rue's eye level and just put a finger to his lips, give him a wink, and then zip up back up to the ceiling to the right, the lit side, and at the ceiling level at the top, just sort of stick his head around a bit and take a look at what's going on in that room.
Okay. You see a room that looks like a very tight, small barracks. It's about 20 feet wide. There's a wall. Like as you're coming up this, I'm picturing you kind of up in the corner at the ceiling, at the close wall, the right wall, and maybe just peeking. And the wall goes around the corner for 5 feet and then opens into this room. And the depth of the room from where you are to the back wall is 25 feet. The first 5 feet of that is taken up with this little wall. You can see into the room, the west half of the room, and there are four sort of crude wooden, small, low to the ground cots that are stuffed with straw and nasty looking material, burlap or hemp, something, just like sleeping pallets, very crudely put together. It smells of acrid BO, and the voices are definitely coming from there. As is very clearly now, you figure it's probably a torch that has been lit based on the flicker and the volume of light in this space. But you don't really see anything else in the space. How long do you stay there watching and listening?
Uh, Probably half a minute, and probably let the curiosity get the better of me and move deeper into the area, further up into the shadows.
Okay, so sticking to that little 5 foot long wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see a large human figure dressed. You've seen this person before, or another person dressed similarly to this person. It's a human male, dark hair, very pasty white skin. He's in the black chainmail. There's the dark cloak. There's a spear. Got the pin or badge of the Zentarum on his chest. And he's kind of backed up towards those pallets, but he's speaking to the part of the room that you can't see very well until you get up to that corner. And then you see two of the other type of thugs. These guys are in chainmail also with shields, cloaks. They have a longbow strapped to their backs with a quiver of arrows, and they have maces at their hips. And there is a torch in a rough sconce on the east wall. The room is 20 feet across by 25 feet deep. And it looks like this little wall has created an alcove, like there's a little open space on the other side of this wall.
While he's moving down that hallway, I want to try to find a spot in that room there where I can hide, but also see down that hallway.
A spot in which room?
In the room with all the salt crates.
Oh, okay. That room is pretty well. You'd have to climb up on top of the salt crates, which you could do. It would be a tight squeeze once you get up there. Because these barrels are 3 feet high, maybe 3.5 feet tall, and they're double stacked. So what is that? About 7 feet, leaving about 3 feet clearance at the top. You could certainly climb up there. Give me like an athletics. Shouldn't be too difficult based on what you're seeing.
How heavy would these barrels be?
They're pretty damn heavy because they're full of salt.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn an advantage on this.
Okay.
Which is good because my first roll was a natural one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd hate for one of those big barrels to come crashing down into the hallway. That would suck.
I would certainly rub salt into the wound.
Total is an 11.
Okay. I had a DC 10 for you there. So, yeah, you're able to get up in there and kind of get turned around. It's, it's not quite claustrophobic, but you can see claustrophobic from where you are. It's a little snug. But, again, you're a bit of a expert at such things. So
I'm just going to throw my Cloak of Elvenkind over myself and hide up there while I watch.
Okay. Viz, what are you going to do?
So there's 3 people in this room.
Yeah.
One of the leader types and 2 of the lesser thugs.
Yeah.
Did I see any other exits out of that area, or was it a dead end?
Looks to be a dead end.
Okay. I will go quietly back down that partition there and see if I can see Rue immediately. Probably
Rue
not.
is gone.
So Viz will just giggle slightly to himself, and then so I went. It was left that the light was coming from, if I recall.
The light, the chamber that's illuminated where the 3 Zentarum agents are, is on the north side of this east-west hallway. So
Right.
it's on the right side as you were facing down the hall. Now it's on the left side, assuming you face back the way you came. The barrels are also on the left side. They're on the same side of the hallway, the north side of the hallway.
Okay. So what Viz will do is go down into the unlit part that we missed off.
Okay.
I guess to
Yeah,
the south on
southward.
your map. And see what's in
35
there.
feet, it turns west.
Okay. I carefully look around that corner and see where it
15
goes.
feet, and it comes to what looks to be a steel door across the tunnel.
Okay. No windows or anything in it?
No.
Is it locked on this side or the opposite side?
You can try it if you wish.
Well, first thing I'm going to do is look for a locking mechanism,
There is a handle.
but no obvious keyed lock or anything like that.
No.
No bar.
No.
Obviously. Yeah. I'll just fly back to that T intersection and look again to see if Rue's there or not.
Okay. You don't see Rue in the hallway. Rue, you've seen Viz come out. I'm assuming you're watching that end of the hall.
Yeah.
You'd have to be at the east end of that alcove in order for the west corner to not block your line of sight, so that you could see all the way down the hall. And you've got 60 feet.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so the wall where the hallway tees is at 55 feet. So you can see all the way down the hall. So you've seen Viz exit, come back in your direction briefly, and then turn around and go back south. And then he has come back again, and he is in the intersection. And it looks like maybe he's looking for something or someone.
Yeah. As he does so, I'll just kind of go, psst.
I'll fly toward wherever the sound came from.
I'll
Okay.
pull the cloak off myself.
Hello.
What'd you
Having fun?
find?
There's 3 of them around the corner there, and a steel door down the other side. I can either draw them out, or I can go up and get Zol, and he can have some of the fun too. And Rance.
Doesn't sound
Mara.
like a fight we should take on by ourselves.
Well, we handled more than 3 of them upstairs.
Not by the 2 of us.
Well, that's why I said we could get our friends to come and help.
Right.
I will go. You keep an eye out so they don't get away.
Works for me.
Okay. And then Viz will just take off back up the way we came and inform the rest of the group.
Okay.
Ronvin, Rance, and Zol that there's 3 more of them down here, and it's a party. Come on and join us.
Yeah, so Ronvin Viz comes fluttering up out of that tunnel and informs you that there are more Zentarum agents down the tunnel.
Yeah.
All right.
One big guy with a spear and 2 littler guys with bows and arrows and swords and stuff. Don't know what they're
Right.
talking about. Horde language that they're using.
All right. I better get the lightning ready. And then she's going to try and, sneakily make it with them. And hopefully that our paladin can also be sneaky.
That's not going to happen. So what Viz will do is double time it flying down the hallway to potentially get things started and let the noisemakers come up behind, so that if the guys who are in that room hear us coming, Viz will go high, fly around and try to flank them from behind if they come out the hallway.
Okay. Very good. Let's do this. Let's establish our marching order. Rue, are you going to stay put?
If they're going down the hallway to find these guys, then no, I'll go with them.
Okay. because the opening is only about 50 feet from where you are currently. So if you're looking to make a bow shot, you're easily within range. Um, but if you want to hop down and be on foot, that is your
Yeah,
prerogative.
if they're going, if the rest of my party is going to them, then I want to go with the party.
Okay, so let's establish a marching order. Viz is going to be first because you're flying down in there. Do you want Zal to bring up the rear since he's going to be the loudest? Unless he
That makes
rolls really
sense.
well. Okay.
Well, he's at disadvantage with that armor, so.
Yes, he is.
Maybe we shouldn't.
I think it would make sense at that point for the DM to burn one of his advantages on behalf of Zal, too. I think that would be...
If we're all super sneaky, then he's the bait.
Well, in that case, he should be up front, being bait.
You could do that. Okay, so Zal...
I would think Zol would want to be up front anyway.
Okay.
It's just me. We'll put Rance in the middle and Ronvin at the end. Does that make sense?
Rue, where do you want to
Ronvin.
go in there?
You got a nice sneaky position on top of those crates for some sniping action there.
Yeah, maybe I should stay there, and that way I can keep an eye if someone comes from the direction of the door as well.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, I'll go back up on
So
top of the
Ronvin,
crates.
you'll bring up the rear, which is nice because you're a ranged weapon wielder in this circumstance. So, okay. So Viz, you're going to flutter down and kind of get in position. Are you going to go like down the south hallway a little piece, or?
I guess the best thing is to draw them out, but we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll let chaos reign.
Okay, that's true to character. Zal will stop and sneak down the hallway. Let me see here. Stealth is what, Dex?
Yep. Dex and proficiency, if any.
I'm pretty sure this dude's not got proficiency in stealth. He's kind of a straight ahead sort of a lad.
You never
But
know.
I will burn an advantage.
He could have like the street urchin background or something, and
So
be
Zal,
raised.
not. So Zal looks at everyone. May the light of Lathander shine upon our battle. Should I extinguish the torch?
No.
Okay.
Would that give you double disadvantage as a human in the darkness and heavy armor clattering around?
Okay, so he starts down the hall surprisingly quietly, but he's moving very slowly. It seems he's learned how to manage to keep his armor from clinking and clanking terribly loudly. Certainly not any louder than the conversation that's taking place in the room. Rants, no problem. Ronvin, roll me a stealth, pretty please, as you're sneaking along, bringing up the rear. Torchlight flickering.
Yeah, that's a 12.
Okay. Viz, as you are up closest to the opening, you hear the conversation stop abruptly. And you hear the sound of movement in the room. What do you do?
I pull up and smile to myself and get ready to start throwing daggers.
Okay, are you still up the hallway a bit? Like, how far are you to the opening into that room? How close are you to that, or how far away?
I'd be at it or on top of it, basically.
Okay, so
I
right
want
at
to.
the corner.
I want to be there to exploit any advantage I can get by having them come charging carelessly out, and meeting the wall of Zol.
Yeah, and you hear chainmail making that kind of slinky-ish, heavy slinky sound that, that kind of, metal clanking against shield, and perhaps against the haft of a spear or the shaft of a mace, as you can very clearly hear them starting to come out of the room. And sure enough, one of them turns the corner and his eyes kind of squint as he sees torchlight in the hallway and a group of people. And I'm going to have everybody roll initiative.
Yeah, that's what I.
Okay, I've got some initiatives to roll here.
This is not my night for rolling.
Okay, 25 to 20.
Oh boy. The
Okay.
sound of silence.
20. Oh, wait, I got to get Rance. Oh, yeah, no. 20. I got to get Zol. Hang on. Ooh. 22.
15 to 20.
15. Thank you. Sorry, man, I blanked.
16 for me.
15.
Okay, 16, 15. So Viz. Zol goes after Viz. Rue goes after Zol. Ronvin.
Ronvin got a 5. She probably
5. Okay.
she probably tripped, made the noise, and is now like, what?
Okay. So, as they come around the corner, you hear down the hallway someone barking orders in this horrible language. And then you hear Zal answer, "Speak in the common tongue, you vile denizen of the darkness." And he curses, says, "They're speaking in infernal language of the devils and demons." And from around the corner steps the larger commander type with a spear wielded, and he's going to throw it at Zal. And he rolls rather poorly, and the spear clatters off the wall and down the hallway. And it will be Viz. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Viz, it's your turn.
So am I on the side of these guys or the back or?
You're just back up the hallway. You're basically in melee, kind of face to face. The big guy kind of stepped out into the hallway behind his two compadres and threw that spear. And I'm guessing just with all of the people in the hallway and general chaos and somewhat surprise, he missed.
Excellent. I'm going to show him how to throw things. So I will hurl 2 daggers at him.
Beep, beep.
Oh, first attack is a natural 20 for 28.
Wow, that should do it, yeah. Nicely done.
That is... Okay, so that's max damage is 4 plus 5 is 9 plus 3 is 12. And okay, hold on a second here.
Gotta love those crits, baby.
Yeah.
Mathing time.
Plus 2, so that's 14 damage on the
Okay.
first attack. Second attack is a dirty 20
Yep.
for 8 plus 2 is 10 more points of
Oh,
stat
shit.
damage.
Nice. And as you do this, and he howls in pain, and then he starts barking orders. Bark, 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 bark. And so the two dudes are going to use their reaction as their commander invokes his voice of command, giving them the opportunity to make a melee attack. And so they are both going to swing at you, Viz, with maces as you blast their commander. So the first one is a 22 to hit.
That hits.
That is 6 bludgeoning. The second dude swings with a 13.
That misses.
Yeah, it clanks the iron. And these maces are black and ugly looking. They have like gnarled fists for heads on the mace, and sparks fly as it clangs against the wall of the tunnel, missing you as the guy grunts. And you recognize immediately the source of the acrid BO smell in the room, as these three individuals are close enough to you that very clearly it is coming from them. And that was their reaction. Do you have anything else you'd like to do on your turn now that you've attacked and been attacked?
Good question. I'd say at this point, no. Because I'm a shield wielder. Or can I? They're in melee with me.
Yes, sir. Two of them are.
Could I use a bonus action to kick one of them in the face? Like do an unarmed strike type?
Well, that would be an attack as an action. Unless you have unarmed strike as a bonus action.
Oh, that's right. You have to bonus offhand weapon attack. That's what I'm trying to get to. No. Okay, that's it for me.
That's it for you?
Yeah.
Okay, man. Okay, it is now Zal's turn. And he kind of snarls, "The light of Lathander will end you." And he runs through you and the two dudes to get to the leader guy, who is currently weaponless and is now ruining his life choices. And as Zal advances, he just kind of cringes. And Zal has to kind of use his greatsword like a spear, in that he can't really get a full swing, but he will take a couple of swings at this guy. 8 and 8 is 16. That hits armor class exactly. That's one hit and two hits. So Zal, clang, crash, and you see his beautiful greatsword dent and cut into the chainmail, and tear the cloak twice for a total of 12. And 7 is 19. Plus 8 is 27. Plus 4 is 31. Whew! The guy crumples to the ground. And blood just starts to run out as Zal stands over him. He's going to be subject to 2 attacks of opportunity from these other 2 guys with the maces.
Actually, they've used their reactions already.
You are correct. Thank you for catching that. Nice. So, yeah, he's not going to be subject to those. I totally knew that.
Which is what made that action actually awesome, because
Awesome. He knows that as a tactician. Yeah, the NPC is actually smarter than the DM. Not an uncommon occurrence in my games. Okay.
He's smarter than all of us.
Okay, so that's Zal. Rue, you're up. You just saw Zal rush through, armor gleaming in the torchlight, and with 2 big stabs, he cuts down the commander leader guy, much to the dismay of the other 2. What would you like to do? They are about 40 feet from your position, 45-ish.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fire my short bow at them.
Okay.
I get advantage for shooting from hiding.
Okay. But
I'm
why
not
would you?
sure.
But why would you want to have advantage, dear rogue? I think you might. Let me check. I thought we already established that you did. Hide. No, not that kind of hide.
He's got surprise on them.
Well, we're in melee already. We're in the initiative. Hide equipment. Hide action. There we go. Yes, unseen attackers and targets section later in this section. And so, when a creature cannot see you, you have advantage on attack rolls against it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, you were correct.
I will take a shot there.
So, do your little pew-pew with your short bow.
It's a good roll. That is a 26.
That will hit.
For 22 points of damage.
Man, nice. Did you get some sneak attack in there?
I did. Yes.
Of course, you already had advantage because of the proximity of your two. Zal and Viz basically have them flanked. So we got advantage all up in here everywhere.
Well, we decided flanking's just the +2.
Well, yeah, that's true, but you had it because of their proximity to the combatants. Okay, what else would you like to do?
I guess just bonus action, try to hide again.
Okay. Just kind of skulk back. Yeah, because you become visible to them when you fire.
Yeah.
So, we
If
got
they're
us a
paying
raid
attention.
of 95 people. Holy Hannah Banana.
Whoa.
Welcome, Raiders.
Whoa.
We're just playing a little D&D 5e. We got a situation with the Zentarum going on here. I'm sure everything is fine. We have with us a Paladin of Lathander and all kind of cool things. And so, yeah, welcome, Raiders. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate that raid. Robert Hartley, GM, welcome aboard. Give us a follow. We're playing Theater of the Mind. We're in the Dalelands, and combat is happening. Okay, so Rue, you've hidden up on those double stacks of barrels in the alcove. We're doing a little underground combat here in a bit of a dungeon. And yes, we are ambassadors of Jasper's Game Day, so very, very near and dear to my heart. For those of you who are not familiar, I'll drop a little Jasper's information as soon as I remember the command. There we go. So, Rue, you reconceal yourself.
It was a 27 stealth.
Yeah, I'd say you did okay. Even the flicker of the torchlight as Rance throws the torch onto the floor to ready himself for combat does not expose your location. And Zal has already done his thing. Rue's done his thing. How about Ronvin? It is your turn. I don't know how far down the hallway you came. Like, how far do you think you would have stopped as these guys came around the corner to Viz? Viz was going to zoom up ahead a little bit.
I mean, our lightning launcher got a range of 90, so probably a good 40 feet.
Perfect.
So, and then she's definitely thinking to herself, I cannot stumble. They take all of it. It's like she looks at the big guy, he's already down. Like, I didn't even get to shoot him. So, and then when she looks at these two, what is one of them hard and the other
Yes,
not?
one of them has a very familiar looking arrow protruding from its upper left chest shoulder region as like a blinding flash of darkness blur. An arrow embedded itself into its shoulder from Rue, who you just noticed is hidden. Wait, he's gone. What? But you recognize the arrow as one of Rue's, and you hear Rance kind of chuckle. There he is. The other one is unscathed.
Yeah. So the gem on the back of her gauntlet is gonna light up, and she's her lightning launcher. She's gonna attack the one who's hurt. I'm gonna use advantage on that one because clearly today is not my rolling. Okay, that's much not better. Hello? D&D Beyond Space?
What color
Hello?
does your gem illuminate in this torch-lit, dark
It is
stone?
it is purple.
Purple, nice. So you've
It
got
is
this
purple.
flickery torchlight and then this brilliant purple light as your
Yeah.
lightning launcher magical amulet gem charges and fires 2 lightning bolts.
Right. So I did get a 15. Will one of our +2s make that a hit?
The +2 would make it a hit, yes indeed. Which one are
Then
you?
let's
The one that's wounded?
yes.
Okay. So we'll burn a
All
plus
right.
2. Very nice.
All right, so that is 6 and 1d6. Let's roll that. That is 10 lightning damage on the first shot.
All right, describe to me how this person meets his end as this lightning bolt shoots through the 10 by 10 hewn stone tunnel. Viz, that everywhere where there's hair in your body, it stands up and you feel the familiar vibration, the ozone crackle. And how does it go down, Ronvin?
Well, I'm thinking it will like just bypass our Paladin of Lysander and just hit almost exactly where the arrow hits,
Oh,
and
nice.
just and cauterize that. But the guy just goes oh, and then I still have one attack left.
Nice. So you can fire at will at the other one, whose eyes
Yes.
just got like big as dinner plates.
All right, so yeah, no, that's a 13, and I guess she got too excited,
Okay.
and the second one misses.
Second one misses. Okay. Anything else you'd like to do?
No.
All right. It is his turn, and he is going to try to bash Zal for killing his commander. So he's going to take a swing at the plate-mailed Paladin of Lathander, the bald head gleaming in the torchlight. That is a 16 with his mace, but the plate mail holds, and he merely puts a kind of a dark smudge on the chest plate, a little bit of a ding, as Zal just laughs right in his face and sneers at him. It is now Rance's turn. Rance is the last to go in the initiative order. He's going to fire a crossbow bolt with his hand crossbow at the remaining Zentarum thug. 15 plus 7 is 22. That's a hit. So you see going past you, Ronvin, a dark blur as a crossbow bolt embeds into the thigh of this thug for 8 points of damage, piercing. And Rance just kind of chuckles. And we're back to the top of the order, and that would be Viz.
All right. So 2 down, 1 to go. He's not facing Viz, so what Viz will do is just keep doing a dagger, dagger, dagger. Well, dagger, dagger anyway.
Yeah.
So what he's wearing chainmail too, eh?
He is, yeah. Chainmail and a shield.
Shield, that's annoying. That means AC 18. Oh, 17 does not hit, I imagine.
17 does not hit, but a plus 2 would.
I will use a plus 2.
Okay.
Ugh. If I want a 6 and 2 is 8 points of damage.
Okay. So
Second
your
attack,
energy dagger buries itself in his chest.
second attack is another natural 20, courtesy of the dice on D&D Beyond.
Woo! How about that?
What is my life? Okay, so that's 4 and 5 is 9, and 1 on the die is 10, plus 2 is 12 damage.
12. Okay, looking rough. 2 more energy
sorry.
daggers erupt from your bracers.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to do?
That's pretty much all I can do.
Very good. Okay, it is now Rue's turn. Rue, you are hidden amongst the salt barrels in that alcove. Again, they're double stacked, so you're about 7 feet in the air, kind of hiding in the shadows, like a true
Zal go
rogue would
before
do.
me?
Oh, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, that's right. He sure does. That's what happens when the DM has to play an NPC and a missing player's character. He gets confused easily. So he's going to take a swing Probably, hey, Lord Gazumba, thank you for that sub and all your support. Appreciate that very much. If you're into classic, old school minis and terrain, Greyhawk D&D, Lord Gazumba is your dude to check them out. I'll give him a shout out here in a second. So he, with a huge slash across the back of this this thug with his great sword, he does 10 plus 4 is 14 plus 5 is 19 and cuts this guy down from shoulder to hip, and he drops like a sack of flour spilt upon the floor, and all grows quiet as it appears the threat has ended.
I can't, from where I am, I can't see down the other hall towards where the door was, right?
Correct. You can only see the east-west hall, and you can see the fact that the where the hallway tees dead ends on the west wall, that it does go north into an illuminated space and south down a dark tunnel.
Can I just, in the new quiet, can I just listen and see if I hear anybody that seems to have been disturbed?
Sure. Yes, it did get rather noisy in there. A lot of reflective surfaces, the hewn stone, 10 by 10 tunnel. You're some 30 feet underground based on how far down you went down the steps.
14 on perception.
14, yeah. You hear the breathing of your uh, companions, a little bit of squeaking and clanking from Zal in his full plate mail. Beyond that, once the threat has ended, you hear the cork pop out of the bottle of rum from Rance, and you hear him slurp down some rum quickly, and a little squeak of the cork fitting into the bottle. Aye, that went well.
Viz is going to fly down to the hallway that has the door at the end of it.
Yep. Still closed.
And still closed. Good.
Yep.
Going to grab the handle and see what happens. Try to pull it open.
Okay. It opens. You can kind of twist the handle. The door opens silently as if it has been oiled.
Well, oil be. What do I see beyond the door?
You see a 10-foot wide passage, but it's no longer
Stream kitty.
Stream kitty.
Hey, Stream Kitty Cat. Is that Rigatoni?
This is Linguini.
Linguini, my bad. I can't ever keep the little pasta kitties straight. Hi, Linguini. Ooh, getting scritches. Ooh, I'd like some scritches. Yeah, you see the passageway goes due west for about 20 feet and then angles about 45 degrees to the southwest. But it is no longer hewn stone. It is more picked and excavated, mostly natural-ish, but natural tunnel, but enlarged out, roughed out to about 10 by 10, but very clearly not as nicely done as the hewn stone where you and your party members are currently standing. And it extends, again, at about 20 feet. It bears to the southwest, and it is unlit.
Viz will take a quick dash further down to see if anything's going on.
Okay, so at 20 feet, it turns southwest, and it goes 35, almost 70 feet, 80 feet, 100 feet, 120 feet. And at that point, it just becomes a dark blur at the edge of your dark vision. At about 35, 40 feet, looks like there's like a side tunnel, maybe 5 feet wide or so, rough opening in the rock. And roll perception for me.
Hmm? 3.
Right, so that's what you see.
Awesome. All right.
While he does that, can Ronvin check if those three had anything interesting like notes or maps or
Oh,
anything
sure.
on them?
Yeah, so
Or
you want to
shiny?
roll the bodies, and there's nothing, just like before. They seem to be, equipped and dressed for military. They don't have a single personal effect upon them. So, hey, Fellowship of the Tables, thanks for gifting that sub, man. That's very generous of you. That'll get the team another +2. Anytime we get a
And, sh-
sub or a follow, we get a +2.
and she'll definitely remark about that out loud. Can't believe that none of them has anything personal on their person. That sounded weird, but you know what I mean. Silence.
There is the illuminated space to the north, opposite the tunnel that goes to the south.
Why
I'm
don't we
gonna,
check that out before we go in the
uh,
dark?
I'm gonna hop down off my perch
Okay.
and go just far enough that I can see this, what they're up to.
Okay. Yeah, you see he's got the door open. It opens towards you, and it's flat against the north wall. Um, and he has gone to basically the corner where it bears to the southwest. Roll perception for me, Rue.
15.
You see at about eye level some very cryptic looking runes or some characters. Looks like it's been kind of smeared in maybe in blood of some sort. But it's hard to make out what it says because you don't recognize the characters or the script or the language. Um, hard telling. It's dry.
Yeah, looking to Viz, I'll just say, what's written there?
Can
Viz,
any
you
of us
don't.
read it?
Viz, you do not recognize the language. Right now, Rue and Viz are the only ones down there.
Does it look? Yeah, never mind. This doesn't care. Boring writing.
Unrecognizable to you.
Biz doesn't know
Uh,
anything about runes or arcane or anything else, so just sort of like, boring, whatever.
So
uh,
they're in the bright area, right?
They are through the door, and right where the natural tunnel bears to the southwest, kind of bears 45 degrees to the left,
Hmm.
right there on the north wall is where it's written, kind of scrawled in blood, some sort of runes or symbology or characters in a language you're not sure, mostly because you just don't recognize them.
I'll call Ronvin to come take a look. She's
Probably
a
says
bookish
Kilroy
soul.
was here in Infernal.
That's funny.
She only speaks Celestial, Common, and Dwarvish.
Yeah, you don't know what to make of it.
She'll copy it down
Um,
just for, maybe she'll find somebody who'll tell her what it means on some point.
Ronvin, roll me history.
History.
I don't know much about history.
I'm not good today. It's a 13. It's like, I think
You
Dave
get
gets all the good rolls.
you feel your core temperature just drop as the blood rolls out of your extremities and your head when you realize that this is some sort of really really evil script. But you
This
don't
is
know,
super evil.
you can't read it, but you know it's not good. Something, you almost hear the voice of your angelic matron in your head telling you to beware.
So does Saul know what it means?
Oh, you guys can, yeah, you can call him down there.
Yeah, and see if he knows what it means before I keep copying it down. Since
Yeah, he cleans off his sword on the cloak of one of the fallen Zentarum, steps over them without regarding them any further, as if they're not really even worth him noticing. And he comes down and he kind of rubs his chin, and then he kind of runs his hand over the smooth head, and he says, infernal, more infernal.
Yeah. This just
This,
strikes me as really evil.
it is. It says the Guardian.
Hmm.
But I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what a Guardian is, but and he kind of
The
looks
guardian
around.
of what? Of whom? Of ugh. Man. This whole place is just really, really confusing. Hmm.
Kind of scratches his bewhiskered chin. You notice, normally the constable, this paladin of Lathander, is always pristine and pressed and neat and tidy and shaven. And in your, gosh, you're at the end of day 2 on the road, and you can see that he's started to get some shadow, and it's pure white on his beard. So much infernal symbology of Bane. This is not a good place.
Well, let's clear it out.
Big letters in her notebook. The Guardian? Question mark. All right. So should we check the area that's light over there before we go
Sure.
in the dark?
Let's do that.
Oh, okay. Back up to the room in the hallway that the Threes and Tarim came from.
Yeah, since we didn't check
Okay.
the
Yeah.
area
So
yet.
there's a 10-foot wide opening that leads in, and for the first 5 feet of that entryway, there's a wall on the east side, and then that wall stops. The wall on the west side makes up the west wall of the room. It's 25 feet wide. It goes 25 feet deep. There's those 4 cots that I described that are along the west wall, side by side, by side by side. The place is a mess. There's debris and garbage, some bones from some hastily eaten meals. There's the smell of just awful human BO, that acrid, awful smell. There's a table, sort of like a library table, with a couple of benches where maybe some planning or some writing has taken place. And there's that wall creates a little alcove, and in that alcove is an iron bound wooden chest. And that is what is in that room. The pallets just stink. The cloth that's kind of holding the straw together for sleeping comfort is all stained and dark, and just it's nasty.
So can Runman go over to the chest and just check it out without touching it?
Sure,
see if
yeah,
she
you can
gets-
have a look at it.
If she gets
has a
any
lid.
tingles.
There's an iron. There's iron banding that goes presumably from the back all the way over the lid and down the front. It looks to be probably the means by which all the slats, the wood components of the chest are bound together. There is a locking mechanism on the front, like a hasp with what looks to be a keyhole and an iron locking mechanism built into the front of the chest.
But none of the dudes had a key on them.
No.
Can she check for traps?
Sure, you can roll investigation. What are the rest of you doing as she's checking out the chest?
Viz is at that iron door, just keeping an eye down that passageway to see if anything comes.
From the way you came? Or
Yeah.
no, the way down that you just opened. I'm sorry, I got turned around. Yep, very good.
It's a 17, but can I take a +2 to make it a 19?
Sure. Yep. Yeah, so you give that chest a good going over, and you don't find any traps or anything, and it doesn't appear to be locked.
Does it feel evil?
Does it feel evil? Does the chest feel evil?
Kind of like the script.
Yeah, you're not getting any sense like that. Once Zal said that symbology on the wall was actually infernal, you're like, oh, no wonder it felt so bad. But it's weird. You just got like a spidey sense, spine tingle, and you'd swear you heard the voice of your angelic. Her name escapes me. Sophia,
Serafina.
Serafina, so close. Warning you about that, what you were looking at, and then here came Zal to kind of decipher it for you. But you don't get any sense of foreboding or dread about the chest like you did about the script on the wall.
Can I grab the spear that he threw and when he missed and use it to open the chest from a little further away?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's like, everybody out of the blast range, just in case I missed something.
Okay. So you're just going to kind of maybe like tell me how you're going to use the spear to open the lid of the chest.
Well, she's probably going to go to the side, so if it opens, it doesn't miss, and she's going to use it to like lever open
Yeah.
the chest lid.
Fair enough. Okay. So you open the chest, and the lid opens. The chest is far enough away from the wall that the lid rests backward against the wall, and the chest is now open.
Can I see anything from where I am?
It looks like it's kind of shadowy, but it looks like there's probably something in it.
All right. She's probably going to use the spear to just move it around.
Okay.
She's being extra careful now.
Poke around in there. Yeah, the spear kind of catches on something in there and doesn't move terribly easy, but you hear the very familiar clink of coin against coin. But the tip of the spear seems to be like catching on something that gives. Yeah.
Can I try and lift that up out of the
Yeah,
so
like
it's
jab
over the
into it,
chest?
see if you get a hold of it. Yeah, you do that, and you've poked a hole in a sack. And you begin to lift, and son of a gun if it's not really heavy. And it clinks like coin.
Yeah, can we actually see it now that it's coming up?
Yeah, you can see the spear has run into the upper end of a sack, and as you lift, it's lifted the top of the sack, and there's a kind of the bulge of whatever's in the sack. Again, quite heavy.
I'm just gonna say, hey Saul, does this look evil to you?
He looks over and shakes his head, kind of rolls his eyes, and walks around the thing and grabs it, and he sets it on the table and opens it up, and it's lots of gold. And wait, there's more. He pulls a smaller sack out, and he gets this really big grin on his face. Aye, a fair amount of platinum. These boys are doing all right. And then he pulls a small box out of the bottom, a very simple wooden box, and he sets it on the table. Anybody care to open this one?
Can I check it again? Because she's like freaked out. She's like that tingling and that evil. She's like, can I check it for traps before anybody opens this?
Okay. Yeah, he steps back and kind of looks at Rue and Viz, and Rance kind of rolls his eyes and like, jeez, just open the damn thing.
All right, that's a nat 20 for a 26.
Okay, yeah, it's a box, very simple. Has a little catch, like a hasp mechanism. Looks easy enough to open. It doesn't appear to be locked, and certainly doesn't look like it's trapped. There's no keyhole or anything. It's just like a simple mechanical hasp on the front.
All right, so open that one from the side too.
Very nice. Okay, so you open it, and immediately the torchlight, there's a torch in the center of the eastern wall burning in a sconce, like a torch holder thing. I guess that's a sconce. And immediately there's this beautiful glimmer of bright white, the familiar flicker of diamonds, and beautiful deep green, the flicker of a little bit of perhaps emerald, and then the very, very, very dark crimson garnet red. There's 3 diamonds, good-sized ones, 3 emeralds, and 4 garnets.
Yeah, if possible, Runwin will just close it and say, "All right, I would like to keep these so I can make everybody's stuff better." Anybody not okay with that?
Zal doesn't really respond. Kind of steps out. I'm not sure what Rance would say. I'll leave the three of you to role play that.
Yeah, because I think I still have 2 infusions ready that I can use since we lost our other members. So I could use these to make, give you guys more armor or better spells, or I can figure it out. You just gotta let me tinker with it. What do you think, Viz? Would you like something?
Viz isn't in here.
I thought,
Yeah, Viz was down, kind of watching the door.
oh, he never came with us. Maybe she should stick her head out. Hey, Viz, would you like me to tinker with your equipment? Maybe I can make your daggers better.
I don't know where my daggers come from.
Me neither. You're right. Okay, so all in favor? All right, good. Mine. Put it away.
Yeah.
So
good.
you've got a large bag of gold. Are you going to take the time to count quickly?
Can we guesstimate?
And does anybody have like jeweler or the skill or the like jeweler's tools, any of that to value those gems?
Not Viz.
I
Oh,
do.
that's Rodvin.
Yep. I have. Jeweler
Yeah,
tools.
so you would say go ahead and give me a D20 roll and use your proficiency and your intelligence.
Right. So that's +7 int. No, not +7. What am I doing? +3 proficiency and +3 intelligence. So that's +6. All right. So that's a 25.
Okay, so value-wise on these gems, the diamonds are 100 gold each. There's 3 of them. And the emeralds, there's 3 of them, are 50 gold each. And the 4 garnets, beautiful red garnets, are 50 gold each. There is a total of 400 gold pieces and 89 platinum. Quite a significant sum of money. Just laying down here in sacks in a chest. Yeah. It seems there's
Right.
apparently been a lot of trade or something, thievery, something happening up here. Says
How much?
Can you give us the coin counts again?
400 gold and 89 platinum.
What were they
2 raids
doing
tonight.
with all this money down here? I mean, it's like this is a lot of money for these 3 dudes to have here in the middle of nowhere. And where are they sending this when they're done with it? I mean, this is what, 300, 400, 500, 600 gold pieces in jewels. That's 400 gold pieces. That's, I don't even know how much that's in platinum because that's 1,000 gold pieces. I don't know. And 89 platinum. That's a lot of money for 3 dudes with no personal effects. Nothing. Not even a pipe.
I assume it's related to just kind of gestures back towards the crates of salt.
Zal nods. I'm sure this is all tied to whatever this operation is here. Same barrels as we found in Dagger Falls. Yeah, that's salt.
So smuggling money.
And we have a tunnel that runs all in the direction of Dagger Falls from here, southwest. Wow. I think we found something significant here, don't you?
Find out.
Seems
Definitely.
that way.
I mean, and for so much money, that's still not a lot of dudes.
Rance
there's a
seems to be rather enamored with the gold and the platinum. He was one to immediately start counting, running his fingers through it and looking at the gems. And
Can I search the room to see if I can find something else? Maybe some paper. Any hints? Any letters?
Doors.
Hidden stuff.
Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation for anybody who wishes. Rance will probably help you, so go ahead and roll with advantage.
We're all rolling at advantage.
Well, Ronvin said she was going to investigate the room for doors or papers or anything. So
Right.
whoever's looking, basically make an investigation with advantage. Hey, Lawful Stupid RPG, thank you so much for the raid, my friend. Thanks for bringing your crew over. Hope you guys had a great stream. We are in the Forgotten Realms in the Dalelands playing some 5e Dungeons & Dragons, and our party just got done dispatching 3 more Zentarum thugs as they investigate the ruins of Snowmantle up near Dagger Falls, trying to get to the bottom of some, of all things, mysteries in the Dalelands. So glad to have everybody aboard.
We got
So-
an 18 investigation.
I got a 15.
Nice. And thank you for the follow, 491 Phantom. Very nice. Yeah, so with an 18 and a 15, I'm picturing you guys kind of tearing apart the cots, looking under the table, false drawers, all, you find nothing else really in the room other than the nasty smell of, the bedding. There's some special deposits here and there in the corners. Maybe people were too tired to go outside. No secret doors, no compartments, nothing else. It appears that you've found what there is to find in this room. And the chest. The chest is a nice chest. Surprisingly nice for this operation. You would probably guess that it came out of one of the caravans, maybe, because it doesn't look like something that this lot would have laying around.
Right. So we have multiple directions that we can still explore, right?
Yeah, you have the tunnel to the south that goes through that steel door and into the kind of the cavernous tunnel that had the infernal written "The Guardian" in blood. It's a nice.
And in which direction?
sign.
Is that in the direction of Dagger Falls, or
That
is that
goes
away?
directly to the southwest, which is in fact in the direction of Dagger Falls. That Zal kind of pointed out.
Okay. And do we have one that goes in like a different direction? I'm
Just
losing
back the way
track
you
of-
came. Just back
Right.
the way you came. That'll take you back up into the large building in the ruins.
I mean, that would be interesting to look at, I guess, but maybe we should make sure that we didn't miss anything up, because there was a little path, I think, that went away from the other buildings, and we'll make sure that we found everything, up there.
There was one building topside that we didn't get into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a building and a trail.
Mhm.
All right. Viz will close the iron door, and that's about all he can do, really.
Okay.
Maybe get get Zol to help and roll a barrel of salt in front of it to
Oh yeah, Zal will
prop
gladly
it shut.
3 or 4 barrels. Yeah, good idea. Him and Rance, come on, boy, and he and Rance fuss around getting that door barricaded with some barrels. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's take a quick bio break, quick 5 minutes, stretch them out. Sure would like to thank our raiders tonight, Robert Hartley GM and Lawful Stupid RPG. Really cool to have a chat room full of lurkers and chatters and hanger-outers, so very, very appreciative of that. Thanks for the follows. If you haven't given us a follow, please consider doing so. I'll drop our game schedule into chat, and we're going to take just a quick 5-minute stretchy stretch bio, and we'll be right back. So don't go away. A little more mysteries in the Dalelands coming up shortly. Thanks for hanging out. right, we are coming back, and here we are. All right, so Vivi is wrangling an unhappy child, so the three of us shall forge ahead. So you've closed, excuse me, and barricaded the steel doorway that will then seal off that southwest kind of naturally hewn, rough-hewn tunnel that heads southwest. What would you like to do now?
I suppose let's head back topside and clear that last building.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. All right, so you come back out of the tunnel. There's the trap door. You're going to close that, cover it up, leave it open. It was a secret door.
Yeah. We'll close it, cover it up, make it kind of look as normal as possible.
Got you. Yeah, and once you close it, it kind of vanishes into the floor. Becomes secret once again. The back door to the large building is hanging open. It is on the northwest corner on the north side of the building. Let me find my map here. I've got many, many papers. Here it is. So there's a number of big mature trees around this building. It looks like this area where these buildings are was cleared away, and they left a number of the large mature trees, but it's become partially overgrown. But you can see trails in the tall grass where, paths that have been trodden almost down to the bare, hard-packed soil. And there is a trail that leads to a path in the woods at about the 10 o'clock position. There's also a lot of tamped down all around the stable, which is kind of at the due north part of this alcove clearing on the edge of the forest. The building you're exiting is kind of the lower left quadrant of this clearing. And then there's also a trail that some of the thugs came down on the far side of the stable. Rue has stepped up that trail briefly, spotted a smoldering campfire, and that's all the further he went. So you have those two trails, one at the 10 o'clock that you can barely make out what looks to be the outline, those of you with dark vision, of a small building down that trail, and then the other trail at about the 12 o'clock position. So where would the party like to go, and in what marching order would you like to proceed?
Viz will start floating towards the 10 o'clock trail, sort of gesturing rather than saying anything to go that way. Unless someone has a better idea.
Yeah, I will also start stealthing in that direction.
Okay, go ahead and roll stealths. Viz, I will say you'll definitely need to roll stealth to quietly navigate around the limbs and the trees, as this trail has just been kind of hacked and cut through the heavy underbrush as it enters the trees, and it's probably only 5 to 8 feet wide, and it looks like it's been hacked and macheted and smashed down. It's certainly not a nicely kept, nicely developed trail.
Yep. Viz rolled a 13.
Okay.
I got 18 stealth.
Okay, so Rue, you're pretty well silent going through this. Viz, you've caught yourself thwapping into, the overgrowth of the canopy gets fairly dense, and it becomes very difficult to fly, much higher than about 7 feet. It seems they've just kind of hacked their way in. You can see some drag marks where maybe some heavy things were carried or dragged back in there. The trail only goes probably about 35, 40 feet back into the trees, and it stops at a 10-foot wide wooden kind of front porch covered landing with a couple of windows in the wall of the structure. The structure itself is 20 feet wide. It looks like maybe 15 feet deep from front to back, south to north. It faces south. And it looks like there's a big doorway on the east wall and you can see there's boot traffic, and all the grass and undergrowth has been smashed down. Some saplings have been cut. And again, this building also appears to have had some minor repairs. I'm going to use the word repair kind of air quote loosely. Again, probably just enough to keep it from just being a hot mess when it rains. Certainly probably not airtight by any stretch. There is a bit of smoke coming from a chimney at the back of the building itself. What do you guys want to do?
I'll kind of look up at Viz. Shall I circle around back and we go in from the front and back at the same time?
Sure. I was going to look in the window.
That works too.
Yeah, you could climb up on that porch and look in those windows, Viz, or fly up on that little porch. It's only about a 5-foot deep porch. It's not very big.
Viz will fly to the window, one of the windows, just carefully, and take a look inside.
Yeah.
Not
They're
not
kinda-
full on to the window, just sort of like at a
Yeah,
corner or
I
something.
got you. Yeah. They're kind of greasy and dirty, cobwebby. Look like there's been an attempt made to kind of clean it a little bit, which has done nothing more than sort of smear. You could see through the window that there's a door hanging open in the northeast corner of the room. And through that door is the glow of fire. You can see also that the large doors on the east wall are standing ajar. They're kind of a double door. And it looks like there's a door in the southwest, on the west wall in the southwest corner, going into another small little chamber. But it appears to be vacant from what you can see. Again, it's smudgy and dirty and smeary. The window itself, it's old. But that's what you see. You wouldn't swear it's empty, but the 15 by 10 foot rectangular space that you could see all of appears to be empty. It looks like inside there's a table, a couple of chairs. Again, there's a fire light source coming from the back room. Maybe like a small food preparation area, that sort of a thing.
Yeah. So Viz will fly back to Rue and convey this. He said, I go front, you go back?
Sure.
All right. Make your way around, and I'll give you a 10 count, and I'll go in the front.
Okay, so by front, the building itself faces southward toward the clearing, where the remainder of the buildings are. The doors that are open are on the east wall. Rue, which way are you going to sneak around?
I'll go around to the west side of the building.
Okay. So as you sneak around the west and then around the north, you don't see any doors going into the building. On the south wall, there's just those two windows that Viz peeped in. There's no windows on the west wall. There is a window on the north wall. The building is a little bit odd shaped. And then there's that kind of 5-foot deep back room where there must be a fireplace. You can see the chimney, little smoke. There's no windows there. You sneak around, and then you see the double doors on the east wall kind of hanging open. And there's just like a simple, crude wooden set of steps down those doors to the ground level.
That's the one that Viz is going in.
Well, Viz was on the south side, the front side, so I don't know where you guys... There isn't a front and back door is what I'm getting at. There's a door on the east wall.
All right. So Viz sees Rue coming around stealthily and just sort of shrugs and flits toward the door. The double doors on the east side.
Okay. It is quiet. You hear the occasional, what sounds like maybe a chipmunk or a squirrel scuttling in the underbrush or maybe in the boughs above you. Again, it's a very thick, dark forest. The trees are mostly deciduous, local elms, alders, oaks, that sort of thing. The occasional collection of evergreens, cedars, pines, firs here and there, little groves like that. And it is just deathly still and very, very dark. Rue, as you come around, and even Viz, you notice to the east, maybe some 30 feet away, you'd swear you saw the flicker of fire, like a campfire that's burned low, but you can't be sure. But that's what it looks like through the trees and the underbrush. Um, and then you have the open doors.
I'll follow Viz to the open doors.
So
Okay.
Viz will go. Viz is going through in the lead through those open doors. Yeah.
Okay, so you find yourself in a room that is 15 feet from east to west, 10 feet from south to north. There's a door hanging open in the northeast corner, north wall, that leads into a very small, just like a 5 foot deep, 10 foot wide. Looks like maybe a small kitchen. There's like a small hearth. There's a kettle hanging there, a smoldering fire, and then like a table for preparation. And it appears that maybe some meals have been prepared here. There's scraps and bones and some trash and debris. There's a table on the north wall that kind of goes under the window on the north wall, up against the west wall. Looks like there's some writing, quill, and papers and things of that nature. A lot of muddy boot tracks. And then there's a closed door that goes, it's on the west wall at the southwest corner.
Viz will take a quick fly over all the writing stuff. Is there anything interesting or legible that he can read?
It looks like inventory, like a count of salt barrels and weapons. Ooh, Doc's shoulder dropping some advantages. Very nice. Thanks, Doc. Good to see you, Bob.
Nice.
So everybody drop an advantage on your sheet. We'll make sure and tell Ronvin when she gets back. Thanks,
Yeah.
Doc.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So at that point, Viz is bored and goes to the door on the west.
Yep. It looks like it doesn't really fit very well. It's newer wood than a lot of the wood in here. Like it's been repaired, and it's not quite pulled to. But you're not sure that it would like latch if it were. You know, it's hastily constructed and not well hung.
Okay. This will stand to one side of the jam and sort of stick a dagger into the door edge and pry it open. And
Yeah, it
let
opens
come
towards you, and it opens into a room that is 5 feet east to west and 10 feet south to north. And it appears to be like a small sleeping room or bedroom of some sort. There's a bed in here. Again, it's raggedy looking. Hey, thanks for that follow, TAC 13. Appreciate it. Again, it's got like the straw pallet and some cloth and some wadded up material for sleeping. Roll a perception.
Absolutely, my strong suit. 11.
11. Okay. You see sticking out from the bed what looks to be the end of a metal strongbox or coffer down near the far end of the bed. Haha, you got it, TAC 13. Glad to have you aboard, man. We also have a Discord if you're interested. Pretty chill place to hang out.
All right. So, Rue, there's a strong box here if you want to take a look at it.
Meanwhile, Rue has been gathering up the papers that was left behind.
Okay.
Just gonna stuff them all in his bag, and then follow Viz in.
Okay. Zal, Rance, and Ronvin would have hung back and let the stealthy people do the stealthing on some sort of signal that you would give if you got into some trouble, you know, some kind of a yell or scream or bird call or firework or whatever. Yeah, so you see Viz has pulled a door open across the room and is peeking in there. It's very dim in here because all there is the fire from the back room. So as you enter those doors on the east wall, that is on your immediate right. There's a door hanging open, and it looks like it goes to like a back, almost like a summer kitchen. and in there is a fire on the hearth that has dimly lit the space. But again, with your dark vision, Sav, you're able to see.
So I will go and check out this strong box that we
Okay.
spotted.
Yeah, it's a metal box. It's heavy for its size. It's maybe 18 inches by 24 inches by 8 or 10 inches. Kind of a low flat box. It's got a clasp on the front.
I will hear Ronvin's voice in my head and check it for traps.
Very good, very good.
What is that? Oh, that is not great. That is a 11.
Yeah, you have a look at it. It appears to be just a nice little strong box. There's nothing aside from, like, there's no keyhole or anything that could be trapped. If there is a trap in it, it would be something on the inside, but you don't see any evidence of any such thing.
All right, I will try to pop it open.
Okay. You just unlatch the clasp and lift the top, and you see before you a number of silver pieces, 120 to be exact, just loose in the box. With them also, a very quick count yields 46 gold, and then 10 platinum piece. Laying on top of this is a pair of just absolute obsidian black leather gauntlets, and they have garnets. They're pretty significant leather, like they like studded leather armor. They would go with some kind of armor, and each one has a large, beautiful cut, faceted black onyx set kind of right here, that might be there to maybe even protect the wrist joint, in addition to decorative. And that onyx, those gauntlets look pretty nice. But then you see the palms look to have been somehow decorated with this light gray handprint that you've seen elsewhere. Remember, some of the armor had the handprint, and you recall very quickly what that is from what Zal told you about that being the holy symbol, or in this case, unholy symbol of Bane. And it's like it decorates the palm of the gauntlet. So the gauntlets are jet black, but in this very cool gray charcoal, which kind of stands out against the absolute obsidian black leather. The palm has that really haunting partial, handprint of Bane.
I'm just going to pull out a dagger and use the dagger to fling the gauntlets across the room into a corner somewhere,
Okay.
and then dump the coins into a pouch.
Okay. They're fairly heavy. They hit the wall with a clank. They each have a nice sized onyx set. There's definitely some value there. And they, land on the floor, and you take your coin.
I feel like we're missing someone here. A lot of unguarded coin about.
There's a lot of dead bodies about, too.
True. We were good at that. All right. I wonder what the gauntlets are about. Viz will go flitting out and nab Ronvin and ask her to come in and take a look at the gauntlets, see if there's anything magical about them.
Sure. Does she have like identify or anything? I mean, she could look at them from a mechanical perspective, and she can tell right away that they're very nicely made, well crafted. They're probably part of some armor. Wouldn't surprise her if they maybe belong to one of the thugs. In fact, when you think about it, you do recall that a lot of them, excuse me, were wearing black gauntlets. So it could be just part of their armor. Hard telling, but they're very sturdy, well made, and they each have an onyx set in the leather. Adhesive or something has got that stone held in place.
Ronvin does have identifier.
Do you wish to make the 10-minute
Ritual
investment
cast?
of time to ritual cast it without dumping a spell slot?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Zal would certainly agree that that's a great idea, and he would stand watch, him and Rance. Maybe while you three are in the cabin, they will stand watch while Ronvin ritually casts Identify.
Yep.
There's nothing, no magical properties to these gauntlets, but she notes that those are probably worth about 50 gold if they were to be sold. They're fine quality. They have the onyx, the pair of onyx in them. They're basically Zentarum gauntlets of Bane. Rue, give me a history check.
Ooh. 4.
Yeah. With a
That'll be
4,
real good.
you're not surprised that this Banite symbology is here with seeing all of these Zentarum. Like, there's a connection, but it's like you can't recall, but there's some kind of a connection to Bane.
Somebody told us recently that there was
was-
about that connection.
It was Zol, wasn't it?
I want to say it was Rance remembered it, but I could be wrong.
Could be.
You're right. We did have something from one of the other encounters. I think two sessions back.
Yeah,
When
you've
we
seen
saw
the prints on the chainmail, the handprints, almost a la the orcs of Saruman, sort of, how they have on their heads or their faces. And let me look on Rance's character sheet real quick.
Back when we saw the standing stones that had some of the different symbols of different deities, I seem to recall Rance remembering that there was a sect of the Zentarum that had followed Bane.
Yeah, man. Hang on a second. I'm going to put another symbol up on stream that you saw at the Standing Stones on your way to, one of your first sessions. And then you saw them again when you went eastward again. And it was that skull with the flaming sunburst. And it's the holy symbol of Sirik,
Yeah.
who for centuries was the intermediate or interim sort of deity of the Zentarum. Originally it was Bane, and then Bane was killed, and Sirik became worshipped, and Bane became unkilled, and Bane is making a comeback amongst the Zentarum. And you know that there are priests of Bane, and so forth.
So it's Bane, the comeback tour. Yeah.
Bane, the comeback tour, yes. And to give you, and Zal will be able to give you some background on Bane. So let me share that with you as you all are just kind of conversing while Ronvin identifies. The gauntlets do not have any magical properties. So Bane is known as the god of tyranny. Let me see what I can find here. The strong have not just the right, but the duty to rule over the weak. A tyrant who's able to seize power must do so, for not only does the tyrant benefit, but so do those under the tyrant's rule. When a ruler succumbs to decadence, corruption, decrepitude, a stronger, more suitable ruler will rise. So as the rulers are sucked in by the evil, just more rulers take their place. Absolute ambition, control, lust for power, tyranny is what Bane is all about. So
kind of a cut between a Slytherin and a Sith.
it doesn't bode well for, if that's really what's happening, Zol's concerned, like if that's what's happening with the Zentarum and more of them and their priests are turning to Bane, it's no wonder they're starting to try to encroach upon the Dalelands again. That's kind of what he shares. That's his concern. Like it's all kind of making sense now. Because for years, Lord Randall Morn had driven the Zentarum out of Dagger Falls. The Zentarum occupied Dagger Falls, and this Snowmantle was a launching point for that occupation. They used this as a logging camp with slave labor. And when Randall Morn had driven the Zentarum back and out of here, and that was over 100 years ago, and now all of a sudden here come the Zentarum again, apparently, by all accounts from what you're finding. And it seems they've begun to perhaps stage something from Snowmantle again.
So we have one more path to check out above ground, right?
A trail.
Trail. So once we've got this thing identified, let's check that trail out and then start heading back down under.
Another
Works for me.
advantage for the DM. Thank you, Enoch Pratt, my friend. Tim plays in our Sunday Greyhawk game that I DM. And if you think that that's going to get you any favors in that game, Tim, I hate to tell you, but
You're right.
it's not likely to work out that way for you. But it's good that you tried. Okay. So, what'll it be, gang?
I think we're heading up the trail.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just making some notes, sorry.
Yep. No worries.
All right, so you have that trail at kind of the 12 o'clock position. You come back out in the clearing, and Rance kind of looks up. Aye, well past the mid of the night. We've been here quite a while. But it's clear. It bodes well. And there is a bit of a ethereal moon glow that casts some shadows amongst the big trees, that when the torchlight isn't near you, you can see it very plainly. This trail, again, looks like it's been hacked right out of the forest. It is, anywhere from 5 to 10 feet wide in places, depending on where you are. And it goes, kind of winds its way into the undergrowth around trees, around fallen trees. You can see, again, off to your west now, the flicker of what looks like maybe a campfire burning. And also, maybe only 15 feet from the trail, the one that you investigated, Rue, the smoldering campfire left unattended. There are ample boot prints. You can tell that the trail has been used so much that it's been down to packed mud and dirt. And there are, dried boot prints, numerous, both coming and going up and down this trail. Very well traveled, even more so than the short trail that led to the little cabin you just sacked. And this winds into the woods. Do you want to do like a marching order?
Sure. I think Viz and I will kind of scout ahead again.
Okay, Zol will take up the rear. And then we'll go Ronvin and Rance. I think we might have lost Ronvin. She's had a child blowout to attend to. Okay, so you make your way up the trail. It is dark, but while you were in the clearing, you had that kind of that glow of the moonlight. But now that you're into this trail, the canopy is kind of overgrown. And again, it's deciduous trees, oaks, elms, ashes, beeches, alders. Again, various evergreens here and there. Not too many. Definitely more hardwoods than evergreens. But, some hemlock, pine, cedars. It smells very earthy, very old. It's growing damp as we get into the wee hours of the morning, and you make your way on the soft trail. Do you all wish to stealth? You by your very movement on this ground, you're not making much noise because of all of the pine duff and leaves that have fallen, that are all trampled into the trail itself.
Yep.
I
Can
will
roll a stealth
certainly
roll.
stealth. That is a 24.
Okay, Ronvin rolled a 16 on the die. She's doing well. Rance stumbles and falls and curses loudly with a natural 1. And behind him, Zal trips over him and goes down with a big clatter in his armor with a 3. So, and you're all, it sounds like someone's like thrown a bunch of cheap pots and pans down a 30-foot stone stairway into an echo chamber, because you all are being like super quiet. And then you hear Rance go down and begin to curse and splutter. And you hear the cork pop out of his bottle. Glub, 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 and then boom, crash, bang. Zal and his plate mail falls over him. Hey, boy, what are you doing? And this trail winds, 25, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90 feet back, quite a ways back into the trees. And as you are making your way, you begin to see, Viz and Rue, what looks like the outline of a building off as some of the trees begin to thin out. Let me get a handle on this building. Okay, so it's very odd shaped. The eastern end of it is the largest end, and it's a big... what's the geometrical shape that has 6 sides? Septagon? Hexagon. Sixagon. Hexagon. Thank you. Each side is, goodness, 5, 10, 15, 35, 40 feet on a side. 2 large, heavy wood double doors in the center of the south wall. To the west of that, it looks like there's sort of a connector going east to west, and that goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 feet across into a very narrow 20 by 60 rectangle. And that connector connects the hexagon to the north-south as the length, the long way, this about 25 by 60 rectangle. And then branching off of that connector on the south is a smaller rectangular building set forward ahead of the hexagon. And you see this, it is all made of stacked stone and moss and what's I going to say? It's got, again, the cedar roofing on the top that looks like, as you make your way more closely, like maybe it has been repaired in places. The hexagon has this sort of peaked hip roof, and a gable over the connector, and then an opposite way gable over the rectangles. And everything again is stone, some masonry. There's wood trim, like timber wood trim, and you have these doors that are in the south wall of that hexagon. The building, if you go east tip to west tip, is about 125 feet in total length. And it is there. You see this, like, kind of like, whoa, this is odd. And the trail leads up to those double doors as you stop and kind of catch your breath and take in the sight of this very dark, foreboding structure. And it does look, as your eyes, you just take in the whole scene. It looks like there's smoke wafting up from the center of the hexagon, from maybe a chimney or a vent, giving you the thought that perhaps there's a fire burning inside.
How tall is the building?
Gosh, it's probably at its peak, probably 30 feet at the top of the gables. It looks like a single story building, like a single 10 or 12-foot story stone building. But where all the roofs peak, there's like the highest roof line all the way across, and the gables probably 30 feet. So it looks like it probably has a great vaulted ceiling or perhaps a second level inside. It's fairly impressive, but for the fact that it looks like it's almost begun to grow into the forest, or the forest has begun to grow around it. Um, pretty pretty crazy.
I'm gonna start edging my way around to the right. I want to look for some alternative entrance that's not the obvious front door.
Okay, go ahead and roll investigation. Are you going to get right up to the building, or are you going to stay back? The building is in the forest, but it's like for maybe 10, 15 feet of clearing all around the building. Like maybe when it was built, the trees were removed that are within maybe 10 to 15 feet of the walls. And then from there, it's just solid forest. It's overgrown to heck. Like 3, 4 foot tall grasses and shrubs are grown all around it, except for this trail that's cut up to the double doors on the south wall of the hexagon end.
Yeah, I want to try to stay out of the cleared area. And
So stay back in the trees, okay?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so roll an
Follow the tree
investigation
line.
or perception, whichever you prefer.
I would definitely prefer perception. And I will burn one of the advantages that I was so kindly given earlier. That gives me an 11 with my +7.
Okay. So you're working your way around slowly, and I'm assuming you're just kind of taking your time going around the perimeter. You do, when you get around to the backside, which is the north side of this impressive structure, you see a matching set of double doors. It's hard to see them well because they're overgrown. There's no path to them like there is in the front. Like if there are doors there and it looks like there's doors there that probably match, and they look to be directly across from where the other doors are that have the trail, the pathway beat down, cut, hacked back to it. Looks like they haven't been used in a long time. When you make your way around, you don't see any windows in the stonework, the masonry. Again, you can see places in the roof where it looks like there's fresh material has been taken up there, or maybe some tarping has been tacked up there somehow to cover, large leaks or holes. And you finally, and it probably takes you a good 10 minutes of going slowly so you can see and look. And you don't see any other way in aside from the double doors that have the path leading up to them. The very path that you've taken from the greater collection of buildings out to this, what appears to be sort of an isolated building. And you didn't notice any trails with your 11 perception. You didn't notice any trails other than the one you took up here, which again, of all the footpaths through the woods, has been the most trodden, widest, most used, with the exception of the one that leads from out in the grassway through the little bit of woods into the main clearing of Snowmantle. And it's quiet.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up and try to catch Viz's eye and see what he's doing.
He's just flitting around looking for threats, thinking about going in the front door. Yes, Rue. What's happening?
Uh,
That's
yeah,
exciting.
Rue is just going to stealthily make his way up to the north doors.
Doors in the ones on the backside, or the ones up the trail.
On the backside.
Okay. Yeah, so you enter the kind of the grassy, for lack of a better term, clearing, and it's thistle and blackberries and small shrubs, and I mean, it's like almost difficult terrain. And you hack and fight your way there, and those doors, you almost can't get to them because the overgrowth is so dense. There has been nothing through here in ages. You can see what it looks like as you get closer to the building, where some of the vegetation has maybe grown up into the soffit. The roof kind of overhangs a little bit, and maybe it looks like some of it's like clung or somehow fastened itself to the masonry, the stonework, the wood of the doors. And it looks like nothing has passed these doors in perhaps a couple of centuries.
You get them open?
Yeah, I will try and get the door open.
Okay. You can you can work a hand in there to get on what appears to be an iron, very rusty set of handles. It's hard to get any leverage or grip on it because, again, it's just thorny, shrubby, viney overgrowth. Give me a strength check.
Boy.
And
That's
you've are your hands gauntleted by any chance?
no.
Okay, so you've probably gotten some good cuts and pokes and catches on your cloak and in your hands from all of the thorny, thistly, scratchy. And it's even tough to kind of see where you're reaching into. You got to get almost like shoulder deep, kind of turn your head so you don't poke an eye out.
I got an 11 on that strength check.
Yeah. So you get a grip and you try to push your feet down and give it a good pull. Nothing. So you reach in there with your second hand and kind of close your eyes and put your head. Nothing. That door ain't moving.
Viz will flit down and see if he can apply some of his mighty force to it.
You have a hard time. You have to actually, Viz, crawl into the thicket and the overgrowth to even touch the door handles. And you have no leverage against which to push. You can help, but it's not even going to grant him advantage.
All right, that's fine. I mean, I can go giant size, but I don't think it'd be a good use of time right now. So that's pretty much blocked. Why don't we go on the other side?
Okay.
So we'll go around to the east doors.
South.
South doors.
So the doors are on the south side. It is here, I think, would be a great place to pause. I think we've probably lost...
We've lost Ronman for sure.
Ronvin, yeah.
Baby wrangling. Yeah, that's good. I have a feeling we're going to end up in combat again, so...
So yeah, you seem to have found this very mysterious, foreboding, dark, stone, overgrown building. Hard to say what its purpose is, what it was used for, what it is used for. There is some smoke coming out of the center of the hexagonal end on the east end. But yeah, I think it would be more interesting to have all of our players in 2 weeks present when we try to enter.
Sounds good.
Awesome. I will say that you do see some black paint scrawled over these big, thick wooden oaken doors. Same characters as you saw written on the wall in the tunnel. Same language. And Zal is easily able to translate it. It says, "Vigilant Talon of Bane." And you all stand there and ponder that as you're everybody kind of feels this one at a time, this just overwhelming sense of dread and chill and dampness. And then it occurs to you, while you've been skulking about and inspecting this place, a pretty thick mist or fog has settled down over this little clearing into the forest as you all contemplate your next move. And I think right there,
Sounds good.
we will hit the pause button. So let's do some quick outros. Dave, Viz, tell us where the world can find you when it comes to the interwebs and all of that, if anybody wants to interact with you or learn more about Viz.
Hey, well, no one's asked, but I'll talk to at great length. I'm Dave. Hey Wilson on the social medias, primarily Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, probably a couple of others that I've forgotten about because I'm not very busy on places like Reddit or Tumblr, but those are my mains. And of course, Scott's wonderful Hobbit hole, as he calls it. It is a very friendly and welcoming community, so please join if you can. You're still with us, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Awesome. Sorrow's Tale. Sorry, bud. Yeah, we're just wrapping up. We lost Ronvin mid-game to a mom duty thing, and Rance is unable to join us, so the party has just found a very cryptic stone building in the mist and the denseness of this dark forest of the ruins of Snowmantle, and it's been lots of Zentarum thugs to this point. And the mystery deepens, and that's where we're hitting our pause button. So, but thanks for bouncing in here, buddy. Good to see you, mate. Andrew.
Hey everyone, I am Andrew, also known as Fellowship of the Tables on Twitch and on Discord. That's pretty much it.
Nice. Yes, and I did put links to our Discord. Anybody that joined us tonight is certainly welcome to join our community. It's pretty chill. It's actually pretty quiet. Not a lot going on there. Just the obligatory, hey, how's it going, and a few D&D conversations here and there, but would love to have you join, and maybe you'll be the one to liven things a little bit if you join. Also good to note, on that door, there's a big old handprint like you've seen elsewhere, the unholy marking of Bane, the god of tyranny. So, all in all, just doesn't feel like a great place. Like this is not the Chamber of Commerce office.
It's the Chamber of Ball office.
Chamber of Bane.
Visitor
All right.
Center.
So, I'm Scott, Wiley Hobbit. Thanks for joining us. We play here every other Monday. And every other Sunday. So 2 weeks from yesterday, our Greyhawk game, Secrets of the Flaness, will run from 1:30 to about 4:30 Eastern Time. And then every other Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we play here. The Greyhawk game is about to step off into Forge of Fury, one of the classic D&D modules from back in the day. We're up in Ratic, which is in the northeast corner of the Flaness. The party is wrapping up some business, and they're about to be adventure hooked into the Forge of Fury. We're going to use that game to play some classic Greyhawk modules, so the DM doesn't have to homebrew everything, because, I'm just not that creative. So yeah, Ronvin had to step away. Rance couldn't make it tonight, so we're running a little light, but it was certainly very nice to be able to play some D&D. And hats off to, Baldwin O'Farrell. Enoch Pratt is in that game. And then Doc Shoulder that you saw in here earlier, he's in that game. And so is Guild Superior. Dave was in here earlier. He's in that game. And then the final player in that game is Chris, Wiki VA, and Carnage, Carl. So that's a team of 5 that are in that game. So it's a lot of fun. But thanks to my good friends at GW Marriott for having internet good enough to stream from. I packed my streaming rig in my bag, and whilst I'm traveling for work, I just couldn't get away and not play D&D tonight. So very grateful for the interwebs here at my hotel. So let me check the raid situation, see if anybody's out there playing D&D that we can raid into. I'd like to thank the 2 raiders tonight. Ooh, we should drop in on Little Bones, a friend of mine from the Greyhawk community. I think we're going to do that. I want to thank, who were those raiders tonight? Lawful Stupid RPG was one, and Robert Hartley GM, I think, was the other one. Robert Hartley GM. So thanks to those 2 fine channels for rating us. I'm going to hit Little Bones, and she's a variety streamer, also streams D&D. So everybody give her a shout when we get there, from Wily Hobbit, and thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It's a lot of fun.